Okay, step 7. How does our story, the small bit, fit into a bigger story? We could zoom out a long way and talk about creation and all the rest, but let's just keep it a bit narrow. It shows us that God isn't finished with Israel yet, doesn't it? I mean, Elijah thinks it's all finished. Like, God, everyone's rejected you, it's all over. Have you got some new words for me from Sinai? And the Lord says, no, there's no new words. Covenant, I'm still going to be faithful to the covenant. And he says, look, go and appoint these 3 guys, and they're going to help you. They're going to help purify Israel. That's what the story shows us. So the Lord isn't finished with Israel, which is kind of amazing, but that's what we see as part of the bigger story. The next part was, what do you notice about the key themes? So the Lord to Israel, how does he relate to them? Well, I guess it's what we've just seen. He's just unbelievably faithful. He's faithful to Elijah. He helps him, and he directs him, and he speaks to him. He's faithful to Israel even when they absolutely don't deserve it. And he's faithful to the covenant. He'll do what he says. He'll stick to his covenant. Israel to the Lord, the second one, Israel to God. Well, most of them have completely rejected him. That's what we see happening right throughout these books of 1st and 2nd Kings. It's very clear here. But at the same time, we see that there's a remnant. There's a few. There's 100 prophets. There's Elijah. And at the end, the Lord says, look, there's 7,000 others. You're not alone, Elijah. Land, we don't really know much to say on that point. He's at Mount Sinai, that's important. But leadership, well, the Lord's sending his prophets, but the people won't always listen to the prophets. And we also see that it is the Lord who appoints leaders and rulers. He appoints Jehu through Elijah. He appoints even Hazael over king of Aram, which is like another country. It reminds me, there's no authority except that which the Lord institutes. Okay, is that all of them at that point? Key themes? How does it contribute to our understanding of the gospel? It makes me think there's always hope. There's hope for everyone. We can be completely unfaithful. In fact, the world was completely unfaithful. We rejected God, the King. But he continued to be faithful to his great promise, the great promise to Abraham that he blessed the world. He was absolutely faithful to that. Even though we were completely unfaithful, it felt just like at the time of Elijah when Israel was unfaithful. The Lord remained faithful. In fact, he sent his own son, Jesus, into this world. And just as the world rejected God, just as Israel rejected God, they rejected God's son, Jesus. And just like Elijah felt like, I'm all alone, I'm going to die, Jesus truly was all alone. He truly did die. So that in God's faithfulness, that blessing would come to all of the world. That he would be faithful to us. It's a good thing. Why don't we have a go at wrapping all this up? Wrapping up a big idea from this passage, and also where it fits within the Bible.